You ever find something in your collection? I'm sorry. Hey guys, it's Drew again. You ever find something in your collection that you didn't know was there? It's kind of hiding in plain sight. So this may be a bit of a stretch or maybe onto something. I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments. But I saw something about it was a thread on Net54, and it was talking about other Hall of Famers that are on other people's cards. And they talked about different ones. There's what is it called? The Manager's Dream card, where you've got a couple people at an all-star game, but you can see, I think it's Hank Aaron and Ernie Banks in the background, and just some other ones. But anyway, there was one that was specifically mentioned, and I thought it was kind of cool. I knew about it, but I think I found something in there that's a little, well, I think it's really interesting. This may be a bit of a stretch, but I did some investigation, did a little research, and I just want to share it with you. So let's check it out. Okay, guys, so here's what I've discovered. And I may be wrong, but I figured let's give it a shot. So I did a little bit of detective work, a little bit of investigating. And first, this is the card that's in question. So what it is a 1971 Bud Harrelson. And I'm sure this has been known before. This is a shortstop from the New York Mets. And as you can see in the foreground, number 30, turning around watching the play, is none other than Hall of Fame pitcher Nolan Ryan. However, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what else is going on in the card besides the Nolan Ryan. So I'm going to leave this here, and we're going to do a little investigating. So the first thing is, obviously this happened at a day game. Obviously this happened at Shea Stadium. So in 1970, which is when these games would have been taking place and photographed, let's line up all the other potential National League teams to see what they could be. Now, these cards are all taken from the 1971 set, and as you can see, these were all the ones that were taken during games. Almost done. So, first of all, let's go through a little process of elimination. First, it has to be one of these teams playing against the Mets. But as you look, the Phillies and the Pirates, the photographs taken during games for those two teams were in their home uniforms. Obviously not taking at Shea. So the Phillies and Pirates have got to be out. Next, you've got the Cardinals and the Reds. But the thing about these two teams, obviously, they have bright red hats. They have red undersleeves, as you can see. But in the picture, the guy's sliding. Well, no red hat, no red undersleeves. So the the Cardinals and the Reds, they're out. Then you've got the Dodgers, and the Expos, and the Cubs. But all three of these teams, while they may have different hats, they've all got those old powder blue uniforms. And the uniform in the Bud Harrelson card is definitely a grayish uniform, not powder blue. So those three teams also out. So finally, you've got the Astros, the Giants, and the Braves. All three of them uniforms on the surface match the uniform of the player that's sliding into second base. Okay. So let's talk about the play itself for just a moment. There's only a few plays that this can happen in. Shortstop is reaching down to tag. It can't be a force out. If it was a force out, he wouldn't be tagging him. He'd be stepping on the base. It would probably not be stretching a single into a double and a play at second base, because if that was true, the second baseman would not be backing up the play behind him. The second baseman would actually be in the infield backing up a throw from the outfield. So the only play I can think of in baseball where this normally would happen is in an attempted steal. So for argument's sake, and because I can't think of anything else, we're going to say this is an attempted steal. So what do we have so far? Shea Stadium, Nolan Ryan pitching, day game, stolen base. Well, Nolan Ryan actually pitched 3 a game against all 3 of these teams left, Astros, Giants, and Braves. However, the Braves game, 2 things. It was not a day game, and there was no stolen bases or stolen bases attempt in that game against Nolan Ryan. So that leaves the Giants and the Astros. Now, if you look at them, both of them have a dark hat. Both of them have a graying uniform, just like the player sliding. But the one thing you'll notice is if you look on this player's arm, you can see a tiny, right here, a little tiny red spot. And that year, on that shoulder, the Giants did not have anything on their sleeves, but the Astros did, celebrating the Astrodome, as you can see on this Norm Miller card. So now we're going with the Astros. So let's figure out who it was that was potentially sliding in that play. You've got two different attempts at a steal against Nolan Ryan in a day game. The game happened in New York on May 30th in 1970. The Mets actually won 4-3 against the Astros. But there was two different players that stole a base. Both steal attempts were successful. Both of those runners ended up scoring on Nolan Ryan, even though he ended up getting the win that day. The first one, as you can see, is Jim Wynn. And Jim Wynn, he's got the dark hat. He's got the light shirt. You can clearly see the patch in his shoulder. But the problem is Jim Wynn has got long sleeves, undersleeves here. And if you look on the play, the person sliding only has a half sleeve or a 3/4 sleeve. So the other person that it could potentially be is none other than Hall of Famer Joe Morgan. And I say, here's Joe Morgan in the same game. You got Jerry Grote catching, Shea Stadium. He ends up walking or getting a hit and ends up and steals second on Nolan Ryan. And I believe that right there is none other than Joe Morgan sliding into second, being a Hall of Famer, hidden in plain sight, right there on Bud Harrelson's card. This may be something that's well known in the hobby, or maybe it's something I discovered. I have no idea. I've never heard of it, but when I found it and did a little research, I got pretty excited. So there you go, guys. A Hall of Famer hiding in plain sight. Not only the Nolan Ryan in the foreground, but you've also got Joe Morgan sliding in, double Hall of Famer on a common in 1971. Guys, I appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Have some fun, listen to some stories. And you guys, you be good.